Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back and welcome aboard. Welcome into this thing here. This is mostly a quick view to the extent of my abilities because I think to maybe at least one person this may prove to be valuable. The canyon has what I just referred to as the fleet, the number of vehicles that live here. It's almost like a rotating cast. Rigs come in, rigs go out, rigs get built, rigs get given away. The number of residents here that I would regard as permanent, like super permanent, is reasonably small. Almost the size of a collection of someone at least adjacent to a sane person. So here in the canyon, we have been struggling, insert term for just stumbling. Let's just triple up on that alliterative quality to get a dedicated Class 1 tire test vehicle. One might say, easy. I would say the same. My qualifications are, my requirements are, Class 1 tire, wheelbase under 12 inches, hard body. That's it. That's all I really want. It has been a struggle that has been going for about 2 years now. We've tried multiple different platforms. We've tried multiple different iterations. And where we've arrived at now is, because they are inexpensive to the point as almost to be ubiquitous, is the RC four-wheel drive Mojave. Now, I could not, in my mind, just like, oh, I'll just grab a Trailfinder 2, use that to... Leaf springs are their own thing, right? I want a vehicle that is capable enough to test the tire without arriving at the limitations of the platform itself. Had originally tried a Charisma, we've tried a couple things. We arrived at an Element platform, the Enduro Sendero SE, which starts with a longer wheelbase, had built it under a big, inexpensive Bronco hard body. Was over 12 inches. That's where the light bulb came on, and I said it needs to be under 12 inches. Order the Mojave as at around $100 complete with, it's got a dash. It's enough. It has enough of an interior. It's a hard body. For me, this works. I didn't even bother to paint it. For me, this works. So we've got that 287, 290 for the wheelbase. Gets us where we want to be. We're in that like 11.5-inch range. And then you find, and by you, I mean me, you have to change everything. From when he was originally built, like the bumper mounts, this brace, the chassis rails, and then everything else gets exchanged. Because the Enduro Sendero SE comes with a Stealth XF with the forward motor mount. It moves the skid too far back. So with the sliders, the Shrink RC sliders that just allow you to slap the body on, then we had to move that forward, change the gearbox, change that. He was sitting on SSD Diamond Pro conversions for the Element axle. So basically the same exact width as an Element axle, which put most of the tire outside the fender. He sat something, this is a terrible representation. He sat something like that, the outside edge of the fender, and the fenders have been relieved out. Right? They're kind of, a little tuck action under there. The edge of the fender sat about right there. So definitely not Class 1 legal. We probably had between 2/3 and 3/4 of the tire outside the wheel well. So the only thing left. Oh, I was fabricating. I've got it right here. I've got it right here. I was fabricating my own ultra flat pin drive. RC four-wheel drive makes these, and I was like, I can probably make them for cheaper. So this is a brass SLW, and then I soldered a brass hex into it after I had turned the hex down thinner, sandwiched them together, and then made it thinner. So that's a 4mm hub. So I was getting them as, for frame of reference, a typical hub is 9mm. Meaning like this guy right here. When we speak of hubs, we speak of the distance from here to there. That's a 9mm hub, which is fairly typical. So 4mm, we're pulling it in 10mm. It was close, but it wasn't close enough. Also, Did I mention at any point he's supposed to be a Class 1 tire test vehicle, which means we're swapping tires, boom, 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 right? So that's the thing we need to do. So we went to what I regard to be, do I want to pronounce it properly or improperly? We went to the nuclear answer, right? Nuclear. We went to the nuclear, it's hard to say backwards, the nuclear response, which is Boom Racing BRX70s. So that's what we're here today to talk about. The Boom Racing BRX70. Okay, the Boom Racing BRX axle comes in 3 flavors, the 70, the 80, and the 90. And they are obviously, as one would imagine, just like any AR axle with a 44 or a 60, it's the width of the axle. The BRX70 is the narrowest axle they sell. It is very narrow. How narrow do you ask? On these Hot Storm and available from anything else. This is a very typical offset wheel. If you apply these wheels on standard 9mm hubs and put it there, from outside of wheel to outside of wheel, this vehicle is 190 millimeters wide. 190 millimeters is about 7.5 inches. It tucked the rear tires. Give me another tire. So we were here stock, right about there. We were here on BRX70s all the way in. That's where you want to be. You want to be at the point where the offset, the track is up to you, right? So that's where we are now. They are, okay, let's lead off where we should. Not inexpensive. $145 per axle. You're talking $300. This isn't wants over needs, okay? I'm not 100% sure anybody wants to spend $300 on axles. They want the axles. This wasn't a want issue. This was a need issue. I needed the skinniest, narrowest axle I could find so I could get down to a track width appropriate to the body. The construction and the build quality of them is immaculate. Some of, like, they do appear to be cast parts. They are not machined. And if we are talking, well, not the gears. The gears are machined. I mean the housings. The housings are all metal housings, and they use the AR-44 style delete out here on the outside. So you undo these 2 screws, and then you use hydraulic force to slide that off, which means they're splined under so you can fully adjust your pinion angle to absolutely whatever you want it to be. This is a mount. This is the Boom Racing mount. They add on because these axles are designed for either leaf or link. And when I say either leaf or link, I absolutely mean it, because I removed an SSD Diamond Pro from this vehicle, made no link changes to the rear at all. It put this axle in the exact same spot that it was before. That is a fortunate coincidence that, and obviously you can see the upper link mount is bolt on as well. So this is an axle of versatility. If you're putting it on a leafed rig and decide later you want to link it, they got you. If you're putting it on a leaf rig and you decide later you want to link it, both ways, they got you. They are, well, okay. Let me, I need something narrow. His wheelbase is really short. Let's go with the hardest foams in the world. It just acts like another yoga block. We'll get that right about there. Okay. This is a Stealth X. The Stealth X name is appropriate because the final output gears are nylon. It really helps. How much does it help, you might ask? This is at full droop. You're hearing a little bit of a that is because the skid is moved so far forward in order to get a decent weight bias. Again, as I said, we went through many iterations. Listen, and now listen. This is these might be the smoothest axles I've ever met. This is factory grease, and they put some sticky grease in there. What's that? The sum total, the entirety of the noise coming out of this vehicle right now is the spur and pinion. If you put a belt drive on this, it might not make any noise. Like full throttle, I can hear the wheels bouncing around. This might be the quietest vehicle I have now. Perhaps the most important. So you're here a little bit for a quick view on the BRX70 axle. As you can tell, I haven't even driven it on the floor. He is crispy fresh. Same exact operation in the front. The axle comes set up for BTA, and I would happily run it BTA on a leaf setup, but oh yeah, here we go. You're not wanting for steer angle. I think I can go a little farther. No, I can't. If you can see through right there, look at the air gap between the shock and the tire. No, I don't think I would go any further. We're just going to use that steer angle. I was so happy with the setup of them. You take them out of their little fancy packaging and you turn the pinion, and it's dead silent and smooth. It's what you expect from effectively $300 worth of axles. I mean, it really is. This is not something that you're just going to say, I don't know, do I need that? You know if you need it. So the question you're asking when you know you need an axle to pull those tires way in so that you can run whatever rim you want, so that you're not running flat-face carbon wheels on your hard body just so you can tuck the tires in. You're asking, but are they any good? Like, is this something that I should spend my money on? I want to say it's 7 bolts on the back of the third member. Only 3 of them are decorative. These 2 and those 2, you pop those off. The rear third member drops out, but you can't get the spool out. You have to give it a little pressure and pop the front cover off, and that will have the spool and the bearings in there. No shims on the inside. I'm running a M5 by, I think it's a 2 washer in the front, and I'm running an M2 by 5, an M5 by 1 washer in the rear. That is all the washers that I needed. Because of my skid forward action, you can see this universal gets to a bit of a twonk, and you might say, well, why didn't you adjust it? Because when I set it up, I got a perfect panhard drag link relationship. Oh, also, this is only for people who have been following the trials and tribulations of this particular vehicle, Lord Pennaby. I had to go to TRX4 shocks because I had to go to a narrow shock because, as you saw, the steer angle is so sharp, it tries to put the tire into the shock. He has never been driven. So when we go out there to do a wheel test, we're wheel testing the whole thing. He has never run in this configuration. Where are my guys? There they are. So I have done, many people suggested, this is how I have my actual Marlin, my trail fender set up with the set screws. And I've gone full tool free on it now. It's a little tricky to get in because you got to get over the shocks in the back. There we go. I had debated over moving the battery to like one of those 3D printed bed boxes, but I wanted to keep the weight distribution where it is. Okay, this should be fine. And then I took 2 little thumb nuts and put screws through them, so we have a... It's still one of the bodies that takes the longest to install, but it's tool-free at least. And I have installed the roll bar, which I did not install on my Marlin, so we have a handy handle to move around. He is proper Class 1 stuff. The hard body, the tires, 210 wide. I spaced him out. That's exactly, regardless of the class of vehicle, if it has full fenders, that's about where I want my tires to sit. He appears to, look at that tuck. Look at that, nice. We should have no angry Lexan noises out there because we have no Lexan, but What are we talking about here? And I want to say that's a factory. I can see it through the windshield. The spur gear is straight down through the windshield. I doubt it will show up. It doesn't. There's a little bit of run out in that gear. If I had a Kimbrough to fit in there, we could go even quieter. Oh, yes. Before we head outside, I have to mention the most important thing. And this truly is the most important thing. Guys, don't be like me. I built him. I put him together. I applied power to him, and he did a neat little wow. He would break dance because this axle was revolving backwards and this axle was revolving forward. Because the rear axle from Boom Racing comes by default with a reverse gear in it. Because the gearbox that Boom Racing makes is the ATT, ATAC, basically reverse output. So the output for the rear axle is spinning in reverse, so they put a reverse gear in it so that it's spinning forward. I didn't know that because these are a la carte axles and I don't own any Boom Racing vehicles. So I found that out after I had ordered a reverse gear to put in the axle that was spinning in the wrong direction, pulled the factory gear out, and stamped on the side of the pinion it says 8/30 and then in parentheses R. So I attempted to replace a reverse gear with a reverse gear, then reached into my bin of 830s, of which I have many, because in most vehicles I'm replacing them for either 827s or 833s for overdrive or underdrive. So I have a surplus of 830s, and now I have 2 extra 830 reverse gears. So it works flawlessly once you put a forward gear into that one, because there's a forward gear in the front one, and we do not have a reverse output gearbox. If you have a reverse output gearbox, it's ready for you right out of the box. So again, this is a 15 millimeter hub on the wheel in the back and a 12 millimeter hub in the front. And if you put a ruler up against it, it's 210, 210 perfectly. And I'm really happy with 210. That's 8 1/4. I was originally shooting for around 200. And I did the soft and easy math, and I couldn't get there. We would have to start working into thinner hubs again. So instead, we stick with the 12-15 combo, and I have assembled an identical set of wheels, but I can differentiate. This is a 12. No, that's a 15. So I have a dedicated set of Class 1 test wheels, and I am currently assembling a second set of dedicated Class 1 test wheels to go with these that are the 20 millimeter ring, to test things like the tire that I had. Not that one. Like, we can test some tiny, skinny stuff. We need a real skinny rim for that. So, he's your guy to Class Test 1. Or so we hope. Because nothing will tell us but the rocks. We're going to go to Slick Rock. And if he doesn't just make that climb at Slick Rock, I might actually, all work and no beer, make Homer go crazy. Don't mind if I do. Please, let this be the Class 1 guy, because I need this right now. Does anyone recall, we're just a couple, I mean, just look at the rear wheel and you see what you need to see. Remember when I mentioned that I went to GTS shocks because they were skinnier and they didn't interfere with the steering in the front? I didn't respring them. I didn't respring them. I think there are DravTech mediums, 1.4s all the way around. Oh, it's not enough. It's not enough. That is not articulating, and we basically have the fender sitting on top of the tire. So we are slam wagon status right here. We're just going to hear a lot of lug noise. So we're going to be on the lookout for mechanicals. Oh, yes. Okay, I need to shuttle it a little more, right? Oh, no, don't you do it. It's just completely bottomed out in the front. Get over. Oh. Yeah, we need a little more spring. Just a little bit more spring. Like, oh, finally an excuse to use all of those Element SE springs that you're like, what do I use a 3.4 pound spring for? He's sitting right over there with his suspension dunked in the back. So we don't get angry Lexan noises, but we do have some definitive pirate ship noises, as we just have lugs rubbing all the way. No, this is okay. This is great. This is great. Look at that. Approach and departure knob. Oh, just collapsing. I'll have to look at the bands. I saw a blue band and I think I thought SE. Because a blue band Element spring is 3.4 and a blue band Deluxe spring is 1.4. The rears need to go up 1 rate. I would say the fronts need to go up 2 or 3 rates. But we can get some, yeah. Yes. We can get some looks at, look at that tilt. I want it to sit about there. Where that exposed left side is, I want it to sit about there normally. Oh, this is, okay. All right, listen. I'm forgetting there's a hard body on it. I'm just thinking it's undersprung. And I run a lot of stuff undersprung. So this doesn't feel terribly out of place. That turn circle's still really nice. And it is pretty skid forward. Oh, nice. It is pretty skid forward. We move the skid forward as far as you can on the rails. Oh, yeah. Day to day, all day, Duratrax pivots. It feels good, man. It really does. I feel the invisible weight lifting off of me because, my God, we might have the Class 1 test vehicle. We might have him. Yes, I do acknowledge. The total investment, to get where we are now, the amount of parts that have been transmogrified into other vehicles. The only thing from the build of this that is not in place are the axles that we bought for it, which have the internals from the Sendero RTR. Everything else has been distributed out to other vehicles. Like, when you buy an Enduro, it might not be the most capable, most complete rig on the market, particularly in speaking about the Sendero SE. But you can indeed use all parts of the Buffalo. Like, it will get distributed out to other vehicles. And I was building something hyper-specific. And when you set out to build something hyper-specific, you end up in a position where you have a hard body and BRX70s, and you had to fabricate all of your own links, and on and on and on. I did not mention indoors, but it is relevant here. The front link, the front upper, had to be remade, and the panhard had to be remade. That is not a surprise. The axle got much skinnier. If it had used the same panhard, I would have been like, how is this happening? But we got where we were. I had to remake 2 links to fit these axles, and they deliver on expectations that I did not know that I had. I noted, right there, that lean, I noted during the transition that it it leans a lot harder to the right than the left. Some might say, well, that's torque twist. Not in this event. In this event, we've set up an oval car, but what do they call it in Australia? Anti-clockwise. an oval car to turn right. It has different springs on the right side of the vehicle and the left side of the vehicle. So we're doing really well. We are really undersprung. For the springs that are on here, we're a bit overdamped, not tremendously, but definitely a bit. And I will tell you this, all other things being adjusted, if you're heading out onto the rocks, overdamped and undersprung is a far, far better situation to be in than oversprung and underdamped. This guy just kind of acts like he's more droopy, so it's slower responding, and all the weight is moved down. So it's going to be a little bit of a tightrope walk to find the spring rate that is going to hold him off of his own tires, but not shoot all that hard body mass into the stratosphere. Oh, look, I'm not a born and bred class 1 guy. I adopted the tiny tire life later. I'm a 5.25 man, right? I would say actually 4.65 to 5.25. That's my wheelhouse. I like being right in there. I love a 4.65 on a nice, like, F10 Portal, Mias nylon. So now we've gone to 419s, skinny, unsprung weight to the moon. Did I mention? I think I did. What you're looking at right there, fitted with those wheels, weighs as much as a Vanquish Phoenix. He's a chunky boy because hard bodies is heavy. It doesn't behave hard body at all. So, yes, certainly. Perhaps we're a little bit closer than we would ordinarily like to be to that crawler's paradox for a test vehicle. Like, I think he could hold his own against baseline now. How much will this, what kind of roll are we going to get? I mean, so catchable. Yeah, one rate in the rear, probably 2 rates in the front. And I fabricated the shock towers for the front because I don't have to use body mounts, which is nice. So I do have a lot of shock mounting positions. Also, if you're here exclusively for a quick view of the BRX70, if you need them, I'm not recommending anybody go out and, oh yeah, $300 axles? Absolutely. I'm also not, if there's a plastic version and an aluminum version, I tend to buy the plastic version, not just for cost savings, just because. I've recently started to put more aluminum axles in more places, and I don't really notice that big of a difference performance-wise. Now, in terms of durability, they should be better because it's going to be very difficult to flex that housing and bend a universal, break an axle housing, etc., etc. So I don't have a problem with these being alloy. It wasn't a selling point. Now, it probably should have been, because test rigs tend to kind of undergo more abuse than a typical vehicle does, both in terms of how much wheeling time they end up doing. They end up having to do the same things over and over. They do test protocols. So alloy probably should have been the smarter choice from the outset. Also, these are, again, Trex's GTS, stock TRX4 shocks, but I convert them over to run the 10mm element springs, thankfully, because they wouldn't fit with the full-size springs. And they undergo a little bit of stiction in the early morning hours. They are full-blown emulsion shocks with very small internal bores. So you've got to get that air and oil mixed together. You've got to turn it into a mixture? No. Mixture? Maybe. You've got to mix the oil and the air. It is getting a little less noticeable how improperly sprung it is. I have not thought about the axles one time. My only curiosity about the axles as we move to what will probably be the last station on the day is how scarred up are they going to be from this little go about. Yeah, he's lower than I comfortably want to go. If the lug noise of your undersprung tires rubbing against your fenders is the loudest noise you have, you're doing okay. My gracious. That's across the belly. Do we need to make one more change? Do we need to throw it at it? This is just stock skid with a Stealth X on it. Do we need to get a bow house? Do we need to pull that belly up 3 millimeters? Just, you know, throw all the performance at the Class 1 testing vehicle? I do not notice the axles at all. I barely notice that it has a hard body on it. I don't think you got into a very good spot there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Oh, this is good. I like the pivots because as I've mentioned probably too many times, I will take predictability and consistency over pure forward drive, over any other, whatever that aspect might be. If I point the tire in the direction that I want to go and the tire says, "Sir, yes, sir," and we go that way, that's what I want. I got to figure out how to get that. I'm just scratching chrome right here. Got that bound in there pretty good. No, we got to go a little wide to get that bumper around. Let's go real wide. We're trying a new position on camera too. Oh, so good. That was so good. This is the first video of today's filming day. A little insight for you. And this, well, not that specifically. This is how you start a day. Like, it's absolutely doing the things. Do those two axles and that body cost more than some RTRs? Yes. But this was not a cost issue. This was not an instance of seeking out a place to spend money. This was, I want to see the drop here. This was an instance where our options were becoming more and more and more limited. And I'm going to have to buy another set of these in the future. I acknowledge this already. And I say have to because I need them for the application. I'll be building another dedicated Class 1 with a Killer Bodies LC70 on it. And the LC70 is like the exact same width as this. So I'm going to have to buy another set of BRX70s, which is fine because they are really good. They're really good. I'm not, again, if you have an axle on your vehicle now and you're not building something from scratch, if you're building something from scratch, then, you know, I don't hesitate to recommend. But you don't need these unless you need these. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? What? I bought these with a very specific purpose in mind. This one. And I arbitrarily chose 210 width because that 210 width pretty much lined up with the hubs. It lined up with hubs. I mean, yeah, I could stand to have a bigger stockpile of hubs, but and here's what I do, and I recommend this to everyone else as well. Rationalize it. Go full into rationalization. Rationalize it. Whatever axles you're removing to replace with something like this, that's just another build, man. That means that other build is halfway started. You don't have to buy axles for that other build. Ignore the fact that you paid for the first ones. You're just starting a build. I took a gearbox out of a vehicle yesterday, and I took the axles off of him when I installed these. What? That's a build, man. If you've got an axle, if you have 2 axles and a gearbox, you are well on your way. All of the rest of the stuff is just formalities. I can see it. Can you see it? Little chrome rear bumper. Pivot it. 3-wheel motion. 3-wheel motion. Set it back down. It's a catastrophic entry, and I think we might do it. Oh, I hope camera 2 catches that. That was disgusting. Okay, my front wheel really dropped. Are we still coherent? I think so. I think so. I don't know. It seems like I've gotten much low. Do I have that much articulation? I don't know. Did I forget? Oh! Do I have that much articulation? That seems like a lot. I need to look at that real quick. Oh no, we're definitely sleepy in one corner. I pulled the dang shock apart. It's a 2-parter. I pulled the shock apart. I don't know how or when, but yeah. Oh, let's see. What are we looking at? See if I can balance the weight of this. Oh, look at that. Little bit of scuff at that end. A little bit of scuff at that end. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Am I gonna drive this back? You know I am. You know I am. Shocks had to come off to get resprung anyway. This is just convenient. This is convenient. And like a world championship rally car, he is gonna He's really undersprung on the passenger side now. Yeah. Boom Racing BRX series axles, and the only difference between the 70 and the 80 and the 90 is the width. These are really nice. And I can convince myself that 145 an axle, and that is not a housing, that is a complete axle. Knuckles, internal shafts, ring and pinion, bearings, everything. It's complete. I can convince myself that that's not too expensive. I've spent more money on less necessary things. I think we probably all have. So you'll get to see a long term. A test platform like what Lord Pennaby is a long-term torture test. His brother, Baseline, has been torture testing AliExpress sourced fake Dravtex for probably close to a year now, and I've never touched the oil in them. So we're going to kind of do the same thing with the Boom Racing BRX70s here on Lord Pennaby, and they're going to get some miles put on them. I don't know how I do. I know exactly what happened. Are you all doing the is it the Leonardo DiCaprio Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Are you doing the ooh 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 ooh? The tire at full lock was pressing against the shock body and unthreaded the shock. Imagine that. Imagine that. All right, everybody. Here's something you don't have to imagine. That I'm going to thank you all so much for being here. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. In between now and then, please, one and all, do your very best. Have a good one, everybody. We will see you again here from the canyon. I have to make a note to myself. Don't just slide this guy back into his garage so that he can leak the last of the oil all over that garage. I can't steer to the left because he has no suspension. I hope all the rest of you can steer to the left. We'll all see you next time.